budget that we passed, but want to give thanks to the mayor, want to give thanks to the council for supporting us in our endeavors to move this district forward. We just recently had a great ceremony with some of our teachers, some outgoing, some award ceremonies. You know, I just wanted to take a moment to say that we worked really hard, this board, the superintendent have worked really hard, our students have really shined, but all of it couldn't be done without two groups of people. One, the parents, the support of the parents who you know, pushed their kids, supported their kids, and made sure that they've been where they're supposed to be, that the work's been done on time, most of the time handed in, gotten them to where they needed to be, whether it was sporting events, extracurricular activities, whatever it might be, but as some of the most committed staff of any district. I've seen over the last year a newfound joy in a lot of those who are working in our district. A new passion, a revived passion. We found some new roles for some folks who have brought back their passion, enlightened them, tried to give them the support they needed. You know, they've seen some progress in their students, and hopefully, you know, with some of the upcoming things that we've implemented and started, you'll find some new opportunities and some new curiosities to help you keep on your toes with your career. But without the teachers and without your dedicated commitment, we absolutely could not do this. And you are the reason why Stratford is so successful. We're just the background people. We try to, you know, shore up the walls, and we send you out to battle, and you guys do an amazing job. So without you, you know, any successes our kids have are because of you. So thank you. And you know, obviously, Mr. Kennedy had just spoken about a loss of one of our students. One of the things that, you know, sometimes people forget is how precious time really is. And we never know when our time is. We never know whether it's a family member, who it might be. So I just urge everybody as we go into this end of year season, everybody remember how precious that time is. Make the most of every moment you have. Make sure you give thanks to the people you're with. Make sure you are grateful for the time you have, and try to make the most of every moment, you know. Because today, you could be here till 100, you could be here till tomorrow, we don't know, but make the most of it because it's important, and you'll live a much joyful, fuller life if you do live it to its fullest extent. So, and that's it. So I will call up our student representatives, Jenna Bernardo, for her last presentation.
Well, good evening. My name is Jenna Bernardo.
Is your mic on? You got to push the forward towards you.
It's on.
It's
on. Okay. And it is a pleasure to speak with you this evening for the last time. It's hard to believe that graduation is just a week away. I would first like to begin by thanking everyone for their thoughts and prayers in light of the loss of senior Nicholas Kavanaugh. Nick was a great person and a friend to everyone. He planned to study business at Sacred Heart in the fall. While it's certainly been a sad couple of weeks at Bunnell, we are grateful for all the things that we have to celebrate as we wrap up the year. Students in calculus, physics, chemistry, biology, and statistics are relieved this week to have finished their advanced placement exams for college credit. Results will be shared this summer. In math, Bunnell underclassmen students completed another round of NWEA math testing to track progress in math skills. Students have shown above average growth in all grades against national norms since the fall. In science, Bunnell juniors completed the summative NGSS science test to measure competency in national recognized science standards. Bunnell had a 96% participation rate on this test, and science teachers are currently analyzing data to inform practices at the high school level. This summer, improvements will be made to several courses in STEM, including geometry, biology, and other elective courses such as biotechnology. Science teacher Ms. Morgan Berry from Bunnell will be intending a professional development opportunity this summer with BioRad to support this work. The Career and Technical Education Department has been thriving. Mrs. Ferguson Taylor has led our medical pathway students to earn a 100% passing rate on the CNA exam. Congratulations to all of our pre-nursing students, and a great job to Mrs. Ferguson Taylor. Ms. Maz's business students have been putting together business proposals and gearing up for the presentations during finals week. Also, the Bunnell High School DECA team that traveled to Orlando, Florida has returned and has shared their wealth of knowledge with the Bunnell community. The DECA officers have been voted on for next year, and we are excited for another awesome year. Mrs. Hopkins' finance students are learning about cryptocurrency and conducted interviews with various business professionals and are ready to share their lessons with each other for the end of the year final presentations. The business department is truly shaping tomorrow's business leaders. The technical education teachers are digitally working with their students to wrap up the Bulldog Bulletin and identify the parts of a car's motor and create innovative designs. The CTE department and the Bunnell community are grieving the loss of a valued student, Nick. He has successfully completed many of the CTE courses and is dearly missed by all. In our communities, the creative writing students have published Unlearn, our literary magazine. For the first time, this publication has been professionally printed in color. We look forward to sharing it with the community. This month, humanities teachers took part in the teacher-led rounds within the department. 8 teachers visited a total of 10 classrooms throughout the day and reported feeling inspired, empowered, and energized. Our current 11th grade students saw major gains in the SAT, as did our rising juniors. We are excited to continue to elevate our scores by refining our 11th grade curriculum this summer. Ms. Scatamaccia, Mr. Fiore, Mrs. Braniff, and seniors Kimberly and Sophia attended the 9th Annual Teacher Leader Fellowship Academy/Annual Institute at Sacred Heart University, where they presented the Bulldogs in Training program in connection with this year's theme, Creativity, a Force for Transformation. In the guidance department, the school counseling department will hold a celebration for seniors who have completed the financial aid application. This celebration took place on May 30th. All seniors received lunch courtesy of the FAFSA grant. Graduating seniors who have taken UConn ECE courses throughout their time at Bunnell High School will receive boards to wear with their cap and gown. Thank you to the UConn ECE program for providing this recognition for our students. In our Fine Arts and Performing Arts department, the music department just had their spring concert on May 22nd. Thank you to everyone who came out to support these talented and hardworking students. We are excited to already be planning for next year. Bunnell Stage also had many great performances of Disney's High School Musical earlier this May. Thank you for attending these performances. We are so excited that our performances of the Elf Musical and High School Musical were nominated for 12 Gala Awards. This award show recognizes high school theater programs all over Connecticut. We are so proud of our students for these nominations and hope to win some awards on May 27th at the Palace Theater in Waterbury. The art department had their second art show of the year. There were several types of art displayed, but the main feature was the students' interpretations of the artwork on Visa Butler, the featured artist of the year in Stratford. In our athletic department, Arthur and Phoebe Rodriguez were recognized as the May Athletes of the Month. Sophomore Davis Cincinnati won the #1 singles SWC championship in boys tennis. Our senior softball player Sydney Sedlock recorded her 100th career hit on her senior night versus Berlin. Freshman pitcher Leilani Navarro was named All-SWC in softball. Both our baseball and softball programs qualified for the state tournament and played their opening round games yesterday. At the CIAC Class M meet, our boys track program finished 3rd overall, led by Jason Vanderpool taking first place in the 100 and 200 meter, Ryan Gonzalez taking first place in the pole vault, Caden Alley taking first place in the 400 meter, and our 4x100 relay team of Jason, Caden, Alex Munoz, and Diallo Cohen took first place and set a new school record in the process. The girls' Class L track meet took place today. Bunnell was the host school for the annual Bayou Doherty Unified Sports Cornhole Invitational on Wednesday, May 21st. The event was held in the gymnasium. 10 teams participated in the event and had so much fun playing and cheering on all the athletes. Our last event of the school year is scheduled for Wednesday, June 4th, and they will be hosting several schools in our annual track and field meet where athletes and partners will compete in several relays, long jump, and shot put. Start time is 3 p.m. and anyone is welcome to come and cheer on the teams. In conjunction with Unified Sports, Student Government and Leadership Council hosted the first annual Carnival of Inclusion. Over 100 students and staff members participated in the games, focusing on the whole school engagement, promoting inclusivity within the student body. Student government also completed the election process for rising sophomores, juniors, and seniors. Bulldogs in Training held their annual end-of-the-year picnic at Bunnell on May 19th with students from 2nd Helene and Flood Middle School. Everyone shared how much the program has positively impacted their mental wellness. Adrian Lopez represented Bunnell at the weekend-long RYLA conference held at Camp Hazen in earlier May. For the fourth year in a row, 40 Interacts Club students volunteered to help run Second Helene's Field Day alongside the Second Helene PE teachers. The event was a huge success. Adrian and Nicole also took part in the Rotary Youth Leadership Conference in Massachusetts during the last weekend of May. As part of the conference, they were challenged to identify a social issue and present a solution, and they earned second place for their outstanding presentation. The Interact Club is excited to join this year's Stratford Day with a cotton candy stand and a bracelet making station. Our Women's Empowerment Club participated in the Center for Family Justice 13th Annual Walk a Mile in Her Shoes for the fourth year in a row. The club raised $1,000 for the Elizabeth M. Freeman Camp, Hope America, Bridgeport, and Pathways to Hope programs. Now, to answer your question that you asked last meeting, something that has benefited me from the Stratford Public Schools is the numerous opportunities. Whether that may be through academics or community service, it has each contributed to my overall success as a student and has shaped the leader that I am becoming as I close this chapter and start the next adventure. For my future plans, I will be attending UConn as an honors student, and I will be majoring in pharmacy. Thank you so much, and it has been a pleasure serving this role throughout the past school year, and I wish you a wonderful summer.
Good evening. My name is Zoe Bernard, and I would like to take a moment to thank Acting Superintendent Borges and the Board of Education for the amazing opportunity you have provided me. It has been an honor to report to you each month on my soon-to-be alma mater, Stratford High School. As you know, we recently held our scholarship night. Thanks to our donors and supporters, Stratford High School handed out 223 scholarships totaling over $300,000. It was a wonderful night which showed how dreams do come true. Stratford High School senior Alyssa Hall was named the 2025 State of Connecticut Kindness Award winner by the Kind Works organization. This prestigious award is given to one student who inspires humans to act more kindly towards themselves and to others. This award celebrates the kind work that is consistently expressed by members of our community. Congratulations, Alyssa, on this amazing honor. On May 21st, Stratford High School held their first Action Team Partnership meeting. This committee, formed by our welcoming school walkthrough, allowed for community members, central office staff, building administration, and students to sit and have an open conversation about ways to improve both the Stratford High School and the greater community of Stratford. The focus of our first meeting was to identify why the Stratford community, parents, and schools need to work more closely to improve our schools. The school counseling department has been working with students to finalize their schedules for the 2025 to 2026 school year. They spent 3 weeks proctoring AP exams and makeup AP exams. The counselors have been assisting seniors with their transition to college and scheduling their courses. On May 21st, the school counseling department, along with the yearbook advisor, held a senior celebration where students were rewarded for completing their FAFSA. The seniors represented the college they will be attending, celebrated with their peers, signed each other's yearbooks, and enjoyed an ice cream social. In the humanities department, teachers recently presented their portrait of a graduate unit and resources amongst content areas, sharing ideas and next steps for next year. Within civics classrooms, our partnership with the registrar of voters was evident, with Lou DeCilio and Jim Simon entering into classes to discuss participatory democracy and the voting process in Stratford. Juniors then participated in an authentic election as part of the Rotary Grant, using the town's voting ballot machines to vote for student council, athletic association, and class officers. This is following the preliminary SAT scores in the evidence-based reading and writing section that shows noteworthy growth in 2025. Scores overall increased from 454 last year to 482, which is a solid 6% increase. This is the highest it has been in 6 years. We increased the percentage of students meeting EBRW benchmark from 41% to 51%, and all demographic subgroups improved. In the STEM department, on the science side of things, NGSS scores are showing that our 11th graders at Stratford High have significantly improved from last year, as 48% of students scored a 3 or 4 meeting the benchmark, compared to 33% last year. That is a 15% improvement. Congratulations to our science teachers and students. Additionally, the Science National Honor Society officially inducted 36 new members in the class of 2026 at a ceremony on Friday, May 2nd. In our math department, SAT math scores show that our 11th graders at Stratford High increased their average SAT math score from last year by 12 points, and the percentage of students meeting the SAT math benchmark score increased by 4%. Again, congratulations to all. Additionally, the Stratford High School chapter of Mu Alpha Theta, or Math National Honor Society, officially inducted 17 new members in the class of 2026 at a ceremony on Friday, May 2nd as well. In athletics, the Stratford High School softball team qualified for the SBOE and state tournaments. 2 seniors reached their career milestones this season. Caroline Berlone was a nominee for the Game Time Player of the Week. She reached 100 career hits, 100 RBIs, and broke a school record for career RBIs and extra base hits. Cheyenne Roll reached 100 career hits, 100 stolen bases, and 100 runs scored, breaking the school record for stolen bases and runs scored. Stratford High School baseball did their annual Fans for a Cure game versus Notre Dame Prep. All donations from the game went to support a fight against prostate cancer. Celebrity sports radio host Ed Randall attended the game and spoke to families about the importance of testing in his cause. Freshman track star Kyra McLean set the Southwest Conference all-time record in the 100-meter dash with a time of 12.09 at the SWC Championships last week. Additionally, she also won the 200-meter dash in the same meet. This is the first time ever that a freshman girl has won the 100 and 200 in the SWC Championships. Thank you. But before I leave, I want to thank God who made all of this possible. Also, I would not be here standing in front of you today without the love and support of my parents. I would also like to thank my principal, Mr. Delapano, and the Stratford High School staff for have chosen me as a student representative this school year. Also, to each of you for giving me the opportunity to speak to you throughout the year. I am grateful, and it was a true honor. I really enjoyed being the Stratford High School student representative. Each month, I would look forward to this day to talk about what makes Stratford High so great. This experience was remarkable and empowered me on so many levels. It gave me a sense of responsibility, a sense of belonging to Stratford. It allowed me to be more engaged at my school, and it gave me a greater connection with students and staff. Now heading to college, I took the time to reflect on my years in Stratford. During my time here, I have truly felt the impact and importance of a strong community. Whether it's the different departments like the music department that I got involved with in elementary school, or activities like volunteering for the Stratford Library, which I started in high school, it all became something memorable that I would want to keep with me while in college. In the fall, I am blessed to be able to announce that I will be joining Cornell University's class of 2029 and majoring in computer science. Stratford schools have truly shaped who I am today, and although I will miss it, I will always be part of the Stratford community. Once again, with great gratitude, thank you.
I'd like to take a minute to thank both of you. You are strong, powerful, and articulate members of our community, and you have represented your peers with grace and authenticity. I am so proud of you. Please keep in touch.
I had asked, hope you'll please, one more representative of your school district, star of stage and screen from Vanilla High School, Scott Azaric, to come and share some of his experiences in the Stratford school system. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Scott Azaric. I have graduated from Eli Whitney Elementary School, Flood Middle School, and now I'm about to graduate Vanilla High School, and overall, the system that we call Stratford Public Schools. I will be attending college at the Gateway campus of CT State Community College. At Bunnell, I loved cheering on the Bulldogs in all the major sporting events, most notably football and basketball. Of course, my favorite thing that I was involved with was the theater program, also known as stage. But one thing you should all understand is the fact that it took so much for me to get where I am today. When I was 2 years old, I was diagnosed with autism, a condition that affects the brain and makes the person's communication style and personality a little bit different than others. Because of this, it took me so much support to fully educate me with speech therapy, social work time, a one-to-one behavioral aid, occupational therapy, resource teacher time, stuff like that. I sometimes struggled. In summary, it has cost a lot of money to educate me. A negative part of my experience in our schools relates to the budget of the Board of Education, which has resulted in programs like Alpha getting cut, as well as staff, librarians in particular. The budget impacted me most in 6th grade, which is when I started to enter my teenage years, and I struggled with a lot of behaving. The school team decided I need more counseling time in school, but the counselors didn't have enough time to actually give me extra sessions. Luckily, with the help from the many teachers and staff, I was able to overcome the challenges I was dealing with. When I got to high school, I loved the fact that I was able to take various electives that were super fun, especially in the STEM field, as well as the arts. I'm interested in so many things and got to try out culinary arts, forensics, engineering, video production, to name a few. For example, plus anatomy and physiology, which relates to my career goals. A big strength of mine is self-advocacy. For example, due to my autism, I am still sensitive to some loud noises today and sometimes need to explain to teachers. Fire drills in particular at school used to be loud for me to handle. When I was little, I had to be either evacuated early from the school before it went off. Out in the community, like at Rock and Jump Trampoline Park in Trumbull, I would tell staff at the front desk to tell their employees to try not to blow their whistles due to a child with sensitive hearing. That's me. My teachers, most notably my many ABA therapists, helped me get better at dealing with fire drills in many ways. They have also taught me about having better conversations, such as appropriate things to say and how not to dominate when talking to people. They taught me how to read the room, such as to not talk loudly when coming into your classroom late and class is already going on. They have taught me to work hard and learn to deal with disappointments and change the schedule. Of course, all these skills will come handy in college, but unfortunately, as many of us Stratford residents know, not everyone is as successful as I am, and not every student is able to feel comfortable with advocating for others like I am now. As I mentioned earlier, our school system's budget often results in staff cuts and program cuts. When I was in my younger age, my mom actually had to strongly fight for me to get all the support that I needed. Our schools and many schools often don't have the money to help these kids get the right supports or enough supports. My behavioral aides from Aspire, formerly IPP, including Miss Victoria Lankor in elementary school and Miss Amanda Rivera from 6th grade to 10th grade, helped me so much. But it was hard for my mom to get me this help. School leaders would say, for example, that my behaviors could be helped with regular school staff instead of behavior experts, or BCBAs. When I was taking civics honors at Bunnell, which I got a straight A+ 100 on, I read on the local news about that year's upcoming budget season, where so many positions were at risk, including some people that have helped me get to where I am today. Due to the skills that I learned in civics, I realized that I had to speak in front of the town council about everything that was concerning me and request more money for our schools. Even though it did not work, and I was very mad about it, the good news is I tried my absolute best, which is always important to do when it comes to these things. Remember, as I said, throughout my years in the Stratford public school system, I have cost a lot of money. However, I know that in the end, it was all worth it. I hope you believe that as well. You only get one chance to educate kids before they go out into the real world. You should always remember that when you make decisions. Due to my overall experience, I am now graduating. I will be getting my first paid job this summer, which will be at Sterling Community Center Summer Day Camp for Kids, and I will be attending college at Gateway in New Haven, and hopefully major in radiography. I am also involved in many activities at my church, First Congregational Church of Stratford. I am so grateful to have many great teachers and administrators throughout the past 12 years, 15 including preschool and kindergarten and second and lane, and I want to give back to the community. I am also involved in many town events. I even know many local politicians, the mayor in particular. Anyway, that's enough of that. Thank you so much for letting me share my story. And of course, thank you to all the memories in the system that we call Stratford Public Schools. I will always be a Whitney whale, a flood falcon, and a Benella bulldog. Thank you for an amazing 12 years.
So I don't know if you ladies remember the first question I asked you. How will you make Stratford better, and how is your community? How will you, as a grade, as a community, make our community better? And I can honestly say that based on all the things I see you guys, all of you doing here within our community, all the different associations, all the efforts, that you will continue to do that. We here on the board are all volunteers, and one of the most important things you can do, I think, is volunteer. You talked about giving back to your community, but you know, when the time is right, I know you have other endeavors, but when the time is right, remember to come back, to give back to your community, and that's how you will make the world you live in a better place. So, and I know you do that now, so thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Good luck in your future endeavors.
Thank you.
All right, so we have no attorney's report, but I believe Mr. Cresco had sent over a summary report to Carol David.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So I know every day since Memorial Day, they've been up in Hartford morning till after midnight, working on everything. And so I just received a little while ago a statement from Deputy House Speaker Joe Gresco and State Representative Caitlin Shake concerning the HB 7287, the state's biennium budget for 26-27. So this is for the next 2 years. The 26-27 state budget invests in our children at historic levels. This budget reflects our values and our deep belief that the strongest investment we can make is in the next generation. The 26-27 budget contains $3 million more in education cost sharing, ECS funding for Stratford, which will be $30 million total over the 2 years, along with an additional $770,000 in special education over the next 2 years. We are also, the state is also committing $20 million in bonding over the 2 years to expand and upgrade special education facilities, ensuring that students with disabilities have the resources and environments they need to thrive throughout the state. Providing Stratford our fair share of funding for education remains our top priority. We anticipate passage in the state Senate this evening and the governor's signature. So they are still up there, but Joe wanted to send that along to give us a little update, and that they're hoping that everything passes by around midnight tonight.
We heard the same thing. CAPS reached out this afternoon for a special meeting and shared the same thing. They do anticipate everything will push through by midnight tonight.
Fingers crossed. For them too, if they got it by midnight.
For them too, if they get out of the
I know I've spoken to both Representative Fresco and Shake, and it's been a long last couple of weeks, late nights until early mornings, and they're still going.
Makes our meetings seem so.
Right? This was short compared to that.
But I think it's a testament to everybody's advocacy that there, is special education funding support coming out and education support coming out. It's been a priority. It didn't get buried. It didn't get lost. And I think that that's amazing. All those letters we signed, all the advocacy from every district around the state had an impact, and hopefully everything finishes up and we can reap some of those rewards.
Well, congratulations to all of those who spoke up. Well done. Thank you. Ms. Rickard.
Good evening, everyone. As you know, our last state Board of Education meeting was Wednesday, May 7th. Normally, we would be meeting tomorrow, but statute prohibits the state board from meeting on either the days that the General Assembly convenes or closes. So our State Board of Education meeting is actually now next Wednesday. So there will be lots for us to digest at that, depending on what keeps going on tonight. But at our most recent State Board meeting, one of the things that we did get an update on was literacy. In particular, the State Board took action to adjust the literacy menus that are used for universal screening. Specifically, we removed Dibble's 6th edition and Mirror Learning from the approved menu of research-based grades K through 3 literacy universal screening assessments, and continued with the list with all of the other screenings that are available on the list. And in addition to that, the goal of what we want the department to do is to continue to collect benchmark performance data using the remaining screeners that are still on the menu, and to conduct strategies to maximize the efficacy of those assessments to support instruction, inform additional diagnoses, and develop future reading comprehension. So that was an action item on our board agenda. We also did receive an update of legislation, as it was a couple of weeks ago. At the time of our meeting, the department reported that they had reviewed bills from 17 different committees that impacted education, and that the commissioner herself provided testimony on over 35 bills in 11 different committees. In particular, things that were brought to our attention, SB 1288, an act implementing the recommendations of the Department of Education, so that was our bill. Within that, the civics seal became its own separate bill, and that did pass out of committee and was approved. So just like we have now a seal of biliteracy that we can put on diplomas, we will be able to have a seal of civics to put on diplomas. In committee, there were sections of that bill that I spoke to you previously in regards to special education expenses, about clarifying that reasonable cost being actual cost for special education expenses. And also there was a section of the bill seeking protection from having to disclose the department's school choice protocol under an FOI request. That language was removed from the bill, but the department subsequently won 2 court cases, which made the need for those provisions moot. So that just fell to the floor because we were successful in the court cases. In SB 1392, an act concerning educator certification, there are 2 issues of concern with that bill from the department's point of view. One, that the bill did not reflect the processes and language that was approved by the state certification board. And so the other problem was that the bill sought to remove oversight of certification from the State Board of Education, which we found problematic. So we authorized in conjunction with the state certification board proposed substitute language that then subsequently went back to committee, and we'll see where it goes from there. In HB 77011, an act concerning student statewide assessments, that bill would change the graded years for state assessments to grades 4, 6, and 8. The department had concerns about that because they actually have a report due to the General Assembly on January 1st of the upcoming year. And the department asked the committee to hold off on passing that legislation until they actually reviewed the report that they requested. Interestingly, in that report, we looked at the fact that one of the proposed legislative changes was to amend that particular section of legislation to allow for the State Board of Education to propose substitute language no later than February of 2026 for a comprehensive overhaul of state assessments. That would also include possibly provisions to seek a waiver from the U.S. Department of Education to limit the amount of testing. One of the things that was of particular interest to us is that in the study that the department is currently doing that has not yet been received by the legislation, They found that on average in grades 3 through 11, students are spending approximately 20 hours per year per student on discretionary local assessments, and that in a quarter of school districts in Connecticut, we're spending over 26 hours per student on average testing. And so that is highly problematic to a lot of people. And so we are requesting that the legislators look at our report and our recommendations before making legislative changes. In terms of, this is very applicable to our district, SB 1458, an act concerning changes to the Commissioners' Network of Schools and Alliance School Districts. That proposal sought to phase out the Commissioners' Network and cut Alliance districts in half from 36 to 15. The department had significant concerns with that bill because obviously Alliance districts are tied to more than 30 statutes across many different parts. And so the department requested that legislators, they were going to take action, be very thoughtful about any changes to mitigate unintended negative consequences. But again, the department has a report due to the General Assembly by January 1st of 2026, and the department is requesting of the committee to pause moving forward on that language until they receive the report from the Department of Education and can make better informed decisions. So there was also in our report that we received some possible, again, substitute language that would include the authorizing the Department of Education to put forth a legislative package in the next legislative session to address these concerns that were brought forth in the legislative process about the number of Commissioners Network and Alliance districts. So that is of particular interest, obviously, to us as an Alliance district. The last piece of things that we looked at was that HB 7009 passed, which included language requiring school districts to use the guidance document about cell phone use in schools. I know on your agenda that you have the first read of our district cell phone policy. The legislation that passed says that districts will be required to adopt a policy in time for the start of the 26-27 school year, so it's great to see that we're far ahead of the curve on what the state will be requiring us to do. The last time I was here, I also spoke about the liquidation of funds from the American Rescue Plan Act. As you may recall, we received an extension liquidation approval in February of 2025 that was then rescinded in March of 2025. The department submitted 11 projects back to the U.S. Department of Education for reconsideration. 9 of those projects were denied, and 2 are still under consideration. The projects that were denied, the reason given was that they were not direct services to students for academic recovery. But I would like to point out that 2 of those projects involved model curriculum for social studies and world language. The 2 projects that are still under review are online credit recovery courses through Apex Learning and project-based learning online curriculum resources. So the process is that the department can appeal the denial of the 9 projects, which it is doing. It has 30 days to begin that process, and we're still waiting to hear back from the other 2. Hopefully that we'll have maybe some more clarity about that by the end of next week. And that basically is the end of my report for right now. But I would like to also add that next week at our June meeting, we do get to hear the report on 2 projects done by the Student State Advisory Council. And I just want to remind everyone that Grinnell High School valedictorian Joey Darbilly is a member of the Student State Advisory Council, and so he'll be one of the people presenting a project on literacy to the State Board of Education next Wednesday, which is fantastic. So I'm very excited to be able to receive his report and then take a moment of personal privilege to recognize that he's one of my students. Thank you very much.
Does anybody have any questions?
I think that some of your recommendations and work is benefiting and coming through, because my understanding from SB1 is that the language about removing down to 15 schools was removed. So I do think some of the advocacy, is really positive and helpful, so thank you.
Couldn't agree more. Anything that anyone can do to advocate for the needs of the town, the needs of schools, the needs of kids. Legislators have been wonderful with their time and listening. and really taking the time, I think, to ask good questions and try to make informed decisions.
We appreciate your time. We'll move on to the superintendent's executive award.
So good evening, everyone. As we near the end of an incredibly full and emotional school year, I want to begin by thanking you for your flexibility and support during what has been a difficult time for our district. We continue to grieve the tragic loss of Nicholas Kavanaugh, a beloved Bunnell senior remembered for his kindness, dedication, and strong family ties. Our hearts remain with his family, friends, and the Bunnell community. These past few weeks have also been filled with moments of pride, celebration all across Stratford. From elementary spring concerts, Eli Whitney's Multicultural Night, Stratford High's Scholarship Night, our students continue to shine. Strive had a powerful end-of-year celebration. Our volunteer breakfast was a heartfelt thank you to those who give so much to our schools. I am proud that Stratford Public Schools has been selected to be one of only 12 districts nationwide to join the Digital Innovation and Wellbeing Task Force. Dr. Eckler was the one who sent in the application for us. This is funded by the Pinterest Impact Fund and ISTE ASCD. This recognition brings $7,500 in support and a year-long partnership focused on student mental health and digital wellness. So a special thank you to Dr. Eckler and Matt Rivers for their leadership and exciting work. The reason we were selected is because we are so far ahead of the curve, because we have worked so hard on our digital literacy, because we have had AI task force, and because we are leading this charge. So I am so proud of that department and so thankful that we have the opportunity to be part of this. In addition, we have seen promising end-of-year data trends, including projected chronic absenteeism rate around 16%, improvements in SEL as measured by DESA, and early positive indicators, as you heard from our senior speakers, for our district testing and SBAC testing. As we prepare for the formal Alliance District Review with the state, I am incredibly proud of our collective progress. I also would like to just take a moment to thank my team, the Finance Committee, the Board of Education, the Mayor, and now the Town Council for supporting the budget that we worked so hard to put forward. It truly is setting us up to be able to have success and a bright future moving forward, and we are very thankful to be in that situation, so we appreciate all of you. One other little thing. I know sometimes on our Board of Education we have challenges and we have disagreements, but I just want our Board of Ed to know that you have challenged us to think deeper, work harder, and we are better for it. So I really appreciate the conversations, the reaching out, and the deep thought, because it has made our team better. And I know that we can now, move forward and really work together to solidify what our next steps are for the Stratford Public Schools. So thank you.
Scott, you are more than welcome to stay for the entirety of the meeting, but if you'd like to leave, you can, but I'd love to have you. It's up to you.
I'm gonna head. Guys, thank you. Yeah, thank you for inviting me, guys.
Thank you for being a great example of a portrait of a graduate.
You're welcome.
And you're welcome to come back anytime you like.
Thank you.
Thank you. So Ms. Borges, I was going off of last week's agenda and I didn't realize we had a presentation from Ms. Eckler.
It's actually, I think, misplaced because it is for the curriculum that you guys are going to be reviewing. Ms. D'Angelo Powers had asked that we have to make sure that she come for the presentation for the digital literacy curriculum.
Okay.
So when you get down to that, she'll do her presentation at that time.
Okay, excellent. So then we will move to the chief. Well, does anybody have any questions for the superintendent? No? Chief Operating Officer's report?
Sure.
Ms. Jean.
Thank you very much. I'm going to start off just by sharing a little bit of my week last week. I was fortunate enough to be at the annual Connecticut Association of School Business Officials Conference. And I had the opportunity to spend time with my colleagues where we share ideas as well as participate in workshops on ethics AI and even a leadership session at the Groton Naval Sub Base. And that included leadership guidance from the sub base commander. And he was stressing transparency, innovation, and team building. So overall, it was really, truly worthwhile. And I had the extra honor of presenting the Celebrated School Business Official Award to the 2025 recipient, as I was the honoree last year. So that was special. And she is someone that I respect tremendously. So I was pleased to have the opportunity. Also, I do continue to work with the National Association of School Business Officials, so I've been involved with a number of discussions on topics from everything from AI, and Heather will tell you I'm getting very excited about AI, to special education costs. I am, and I actually said to someone that that old adage, you can't teach an old dog new tricks, is not true, because I'm learning a lot, but nevertheless, the conversations have been really deep, comprehensive, and to Heather's earlier comment, I do think that the advocacy that all of our individual organizations such as CASBO and ASBO and CAPS and all the others throughout the state did truly get heard at the state legislation, and I think that's why we are seeing some positive results in the final budget. So we're all keeping our fingers crossed that things go as they appear to be moving. With regard to special education, that will lead me into my financial report for this evening. You did receive the report through April 30th, and once again, the most significant challenge we continue to face is our special ed deficit. It's now in the area of exceeding slightly more than 3.5 million, 3.7 million. However, we do have those offsets to our deficit based on some savings in salaries, benefits, transportation, and a couple of other accounts as well. In addition, we've taken, as you know, several proactive steps to reduce the gap, including renegotiating vendor contracts, reviewing and applying available grant funding wherever it was appropriate, restructuring services to operate more efficiently. So these actions have truly helped. I've been reporting all along that it would be about $1 million deficit, and told you that there were a lot of variables that we would continue to watch carefully. As of this April report, I had indicated that it looked like it would be less than $800,000, and I'm happy to say that as we've worked over the last couple of weeks through our May expenses coming in, and for a variety of reasons, once again, it looks like our current projections, along with the continued fiscal discipline, we're optimistic the final deficit could be under $500,000. Of course, many variables still impact that final number, so we will maintain close oversight as we close out the fiscal year, but our goal is truly to minimize that deficit even further. We're trying to work with our partners over at the town. We know that this was unexpected on everybody's radar, so we are hoping, again, to continue to mitigate it. We've just been fortunate in some areas that we've been able to. The next item for me, and it's on the agenda a little bit later, is your food service management company contract renewal.
Can I just jump in? I think it's important for the board to know what a powerful business team we have here. Every district is facing $1 million or more in special education deficits. And because of the hard work of this team, and because they negotiate, because they see a global picture, they have been able to take that deficit under $500,000 potentially for us. And that is amazing, and that is because you have a hardworking team that really sees that global picture. So keep that in mind. You know, Pam has never in her career ended a budget year with a deficit. So trust me when I tell you, she's working day and night to do the best we can to make sure we also do not end with a deficit. We are trying. And she has been working diligently on this since December when we reported it to you the first time. So you have a powerful department. We are making strides, and we are doing this because we care about our town, we care about our students, and this has been done without reducing services to students. So we really, I want to make sure that she doesn't toot her own horn, and that I want to make that clear. So thank you.
All right, so I will continue with our food service management company contract renewal. And you may recall that each year that we have our contract with Sodexo, we are able to renew it for up to 4 annual renewals. And this whole process is guided really very strictly by the state of Connecticut. And though I am bringing it to you to approve this evening, it has already been reviewed and approved by the state of Connecticut, which is required. However, I did just want to mention to you that, as you will see, the state also sets the limit on fee increases, and it was set at a 3.8% cap. Last year it was much higher, and we were able to negotiate with Sodexo at 3.9. We felt that the 3.8 was reasonable this year, but I do want to keep in mind that along with any increase to those management and administrative fees, we negotiated in our early RFP a guaranteed annual return in excess of $300,000. So we really are in a very good place even with that increase. So it is later on the agenda, but I am hoping that you will support that. The other item I just wanted to mention, as we've done for the last few years, we do something, a process that identifies our district's identified student percentage. It's called the ISP, and it's part of the Community Eligibility Provision Program that provides free breakfast and lunch for 6 of our schools. I know we've really worked hard over the last couple of years. We did it again this year. We've always been so hopeful to extend that district-wide. Unfortunately, the numbers just aren't there, and it would cost a significant amount of money at this time. So we are recommending that we stay with the same 6 schools. And perhaps as we complete our redistricting and we continue to encourage people to, when applicable, to complete those free and reduced applications, that we can get our numbers up. But it's really a very comprehensive calculation, and the numbers are the numbers, so there's really not much we can do. We've been fortunate enough that for the past few years we could stay with our initial ISP number. If we had to adjust based on this year's numbers, we would probably have had to have a couple of these schools fall off. So I just wanted you to understand why Ms. Borges and I had encouraged the fact that we stay with those 6. And that's my report for this evening. Thank you.
Any questions for Ms. Ruby?
No, but please know we still give her heart attacks every day, because special ed is so volatile. So although she's predicting, under 500,000, we still give her daily surprises.
Demeanor is not typical of her day.
Yeah, no.
I'm very calm. Right, Kate?
That's right.
We'll move on to the Assistant Superintendent's report. Ms. Diorio.
Hi, good evening, everyone. So on behalf of Dr. Piazza and myself, we're giving you a very brief update tonight because we have a large agenda. Well, a large part of your agenda is from our office. So we're going to make it brief, but first we're very excited to present some new curriculum on the literacy of grades 7 and 8. So you're going to hear some really good things about that. Along with our digital literacy curriculum, you're going to get a presentation from Dr. Eckler in a little bit. This curriculum aligns with the Portrait of a Graduate competencies, increased digital literacy for all. It's very needed this time of year, so we're excited to bring that forward. We're also going to be reviewing some field trips, such as those related to student leadership opportunities. We're always trying to strive for student leadership. And included in that is our music and cheerleading groups, little pieces of leadership for them too on field trips that hopefully you guys will pass. And finally, you're going to hear Dr. Piazza worked hard on the cell phone policy, so I believe that's coming up as a first read. So we're excited with all this stuff coming out of the curriculum department. Behind the scenes, there has been a great deal of thoughtful curriculum writing going on at both the elementary and the secondary level. For elementary, we are currently working on our social studies curriculum, aligning it to the newly state standards that were presented. We are going to make it very project-based. We are going to make it embedding the competencies of a portrait of a graduate. So I think it's gonna be a really good product and result that we're looking forward to sharing with you. Starting July 1st, we're gonna be working on literacy. So incorporating the new program with a curriculum and a scope and sequence for teachers to use as like a Bible. I think it's gonna help them a lot in their daily lessons. In preparation for all of this, Dr. Eckler has been instrumental. You're hearing a lot about her, but she truly has been working really hard to train everyone so that everyone is under the same philosophy when writing curriculum, using the same language, same expectations, going over the priorities, and streamlining the writing process by using a research-based framework called Understanding by Design. So basically, it's backwards mapping, given the end results, and then what do we need to do on a daily basis, monthly basis to meet those end results. So a lot going on in the curriculum department. Dr. Piazza and I are truly thrilled at the momentum and quality of our work that's coming out of our teams. Could not do it without the support and hard work of our students, our teachers, our administrators, and we're really looking forward to moving forward. So thank you.
Any questions? Okay, so I'll look for an acceptance of the minutes for the April 28th, 2025 meeting and the May 5th, 2025 meetings. Moved by Ms. Riddell.
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Kennedy. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ms. D'Angelo Powers votes yes. Motion passed unanimously. The personnel assignments, human resources administration. Look for a motion to approve.
So moved.
Moved by Ms. Padel.
Second.
Seconded by Ms. Carol Fabian. Any discussions? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Ms. D'Angelo Powers votes yes. The chair, motion passed unanimously. There are no budget transfers. Look for a motion, a board motion, move to approve a one-year food service man.
Do you have to, because she's an administrator, it's now part of cabinet, I think you have to vote on
Okay.
her specifically.
Okay, I'm sorry, wasn't,
That's okay.
again, I didn't see it. Last month's agenda. Okay. I missed it, okay, my bad. I'll switch over to this one. So I look for the appointment of Kate Cirillo as Director of Student and Staff Services.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Dell,
Second.
seconded by Ms. Carol Fabian. Any discussion?
Came to you with favorable recommendation from the personnel committee.
Want to elaborate?
The recommendation is for Ms. Cirillo to replace me as the Director of Pupil Service. We have Director of Student and Staff Services. We have adjusted the job description accordingly. She has worked diligently and been a valued member of our community for many years. And, you know, we brought it to the Personnel Committee and they sent it to you guys with favorable approval. We are looking forward to being able to post to replace her and get that process moving as well.
Any discussion? Other discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Ms. D'Angelo Bowers?
Aye.
Motion passed unanimously.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
All right, so I'm going to switch over to the new agenda. Hope I won't miss anything else. No budget transfers. So I look for a motion to approve a one-year food service management contract renewal with Sodexo that includes an increase of 3.8% in management and administrative fees pending required approval by the state of Connecticut Department of Education.
Motion to amend, it was already approved by the State Department, so.
As approved. So okay, so then administrative fees as approved by the state of Connecticut Department of Education.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Dell. Second. Second by Mr. Cormier. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Ms. D'Angelo Powers votes yes. Motion passed unanimously. Proposed intro to literature, 7th and 8th, proposal for new instructional program. Came from the curriculum committee with a favorable recommendation. Who's taking this one?
Yep, I'll just go over a brief overview. The intro to literature is is a comprehensive English language arts program designed for grades 6 through 12, published by HMH. It focuses on building strong reading, writing, speaking, and listening skills through a diverse section of concept tests. The curriculum was piloted at both middle schools this year. The reaction from the students and teachers was very positive. The students saw themselves in books. Teachers noticed an increased reading stamina, and the technology integration was very effective. And then 4 teachers have agreed to be the leaders in this full launch of the curriculum. They will be working this summer on creating a scope and sequence and organize the curriculum with most of the units. The goal is to write the full curriculum next year for 7th and 8th grade. Anything else?
And this curriculum, we only need a single one, right? It's not a, got it.
You vote on it, I don't,
It doesn't need 2 reads.
yeah, I
No,
don't
no,
know.
it doesn't need
No, it doesn't need 2 weeks.
No.
No, I didn't think so. Just wanted to verify. Okay.
We're asking you guys to do a roll call vote or
I
a
have a-
singular vote?
yeah,
You
I
guys
just have a
use
quick
any
question.
one.
Would you want to?
Well, yeah,
go first?
look for a motion to approve.
Motion.
Approved by Mr. Kennedy,
Second.
second by Ms. Carol Fabian. Discussion.
Yeah, just a quick question, and maybe I'm not asking it right, but what goes away with this coming in? Is there,
The secondary was still doing workshop model
okay,
using Lucy Hawkins curriculum.
okay, so that's going away, that'll go away by theoretically the end of next year and
No.
the beginning
of this year.
That'll-
So starting July 1st, they would be preparing for the new curriculum if you guys approve it.
Okay,
It's a nice continuation from elementary. Sixth
Yeah.
grade is already, you guys already approved it, the
Right.
K-6, so then they would go to middle school continuing with
and
it.
continue on with that, okay.
And the workshop model is an approved state.
It was not one of the
It's not
approved
It's not
state.
approved, so that's the
We
Lucy
had to
Hawkins.
move away from it anyway, so.
Yes.
yeah.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? No. Go with roll call vote. Ms. D'Angelo Bowers?
Yes.
Mr. Cormier?
Yes.
Mr. Kennedy?
Yes.
Mel?
Yes.
Ms. Carol Fabian?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion passed unanimously. For request for new course or major curriculum modification, digital literacy, which came from the curriculum committee with a favorable recommendation.
This is the presentation.
Okay.
We have a little brief presentation on this, it's not that long, but it's important for you to know. Are you gonna be using the screen?
Yes. It is queued up, as long as nobody's touching it, it's not queued up for me.
Do you need a second, Lou, to turn things
1
around?
second.
And I'm gonna start by telling you that this curriculum is free of charge. There's no additional cost for the curriculum.
It's not like a puppy for Christmas. This is free.
No.
Jill, did you see the presentation from the web?
Yes, I'm watching it on the
Okay,
web.
all right, I was just excited to put it on FaceTime. All right.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Dr. Michelle Eckler, and I'm really here to talk to you about digital literacy. So today's proposal recommends the adoption of a K-12 digital literacy course that integrates digital citizenship and age-appropriate AI literacy. This course addresses both student safety and future readiness by using 2 respected no-cost resources, Day of AI and Common Sense Education. Common Sense Education is the official digital citizenship curriculum adopted by the state of Connecticut. Our digital literacy program will be designed to support student development at every level, early digital habits through elementary school, and to AI literacy by graduation. So why this course and why now? I want you to think for a moment about our students. They're growing up in a digital landscape unlike one we've ever seen before. And while technology offers incredible opportunities, it also presents some real challenges for them. Here's what we're seeing both nationally and right here in our own schools. First, there's a clear and growing gap in our students' digital literacy. What does that mean? National surveys are showing us that many students genuinely struggle to figure out what's true and not true online. They might see an article, a video, or a social media post and have a hard time determining if it's credible information or something that's completely made up. For example, a study by Common Sense Media back in 2017 found that only 45% of students could actually identify fake news. That was 7 years ago. Actually, that was 8 years ago. Imagine how much more complex the online world is today. But it's not just a national trend. We wanted to understand this better for our students and our staff, so we conducted our own Stratford Public Schools AI Readiness Survey. And what we heard from our wonderful teachers and staff resonated with all of those national concerns. Their top worries revolved around student misuse of AI tools, the critical issue of student privacy in an AI-driven world, and ensuring equity so that all our students, regardless of background, have some opportunities and understanding when it comes to AI. This is even more interesting because leading organizations like Pew and Brookings, who are highly respected for their research and insights into societal trends, are strongly advocating for AI education to start right here in K-12 schools. They see the writing on the wall, just like we do. These local and national trends confirm the incredible urgency of this moment. So what's our plan? We believe this course is a proactive and essential step. It's designed to meet those concerns head on. Our goal is to ensure that every single student in our district is not just using technology, but is truly prepared to thrive in a technological and AI-influenced world. This isn't just about teaching them how to use a new tool. It's about teaching them to be critical thinkers, responsible digital citizens, and to understand the profound implications of technology and AI for their futures. It's about giving them the skills they need to determine, to create responsibly, and to navigate this new world with confidence and competence. We believe this investment in their digital and AI literacy is an investment in not only their success, but the future of our community. So what will we teach? A comprehensive K-12 digital literacy curriculum isn't just about teaching our students how to use a computer. It's about equipping them with the knowledge and skills and critical thinking to thrive, be safe, and be responsible. First, we will talk about digital citizenship and online safety. We will discuss responsible and ethical behavior online, understanding that what you put online is quite permanent. We will talk about privacy and security, making sure they are aware that what they put online can be accessible by others if they're not using things like strong passwords or recognizing phishing scams. We'll discuss digital communication and collaboration, teaching them the proper way to communicate with other people online. We will delve into information and media literacy, specifically how to evaluate information and sources, how to fact check, how to understand algorithms, and how to distinguish between fact and opinion. We will also discuss computational thinking, which allows them to break down problems into smaller steps, understand how algorithms work, and understand the basics of data literacy. And then finally, we will address AI readiness and AI literacy. We will teach them the basic concepts of AI, machine learning, how it's used and distinguished between humans and AI-generated content. We will discuss biases in AI, privacy concerns, and how AI will impact the future. And then we will also discuss the ethical and productive use of AI, teaching our students its limitations and recognizing the importance of the human oversight when it comes to AI. Now, one of the questions that did come up at the curriculum committee is, how does this look in elementary school? Because it is difficult to recognize how it might actually appear for a kindergartner. And so you'll get a brief little moment of the song. I'm not going to make you sit through the whole minute and 40 seconds of the song. But basically, the idea in elementary school is to lay the groundwork for healthy digital habits. So we use resources like this resource from Common Sense Media. This one is called Media Balance is Important. The video is suited for kindergartners because it introduces the idea of balancing screen time with other activities in a very simple and relatable way. It helps them to understand at an age-appropriate level that just like when we balance playing with resting or eating, we also need to balance our time with our screens. So I'll give you a little snippet of Media Balance is Important, hopefully. Good place. So if anyone's been in a kindergarten classroom, they do a lot of songs like this, and so unfortunately for my poor husband who's listened to this a few times, it's stuck in his head now. That's what we want, because we want it stuck in the kindergartners' heads as well. We want them to recognize the need for balance when it comes to technology use. So then if we move on to 7th grade, this is another area where we focus on digital footprint. And so this video is also from Common Sense Media. It's excellent for 7th graders because it addresses topics like online behavior and reputation in a way that resonates with 7th graders specifically. It illustrates how everything they do online, every post, every like, every visit leaves a lasting trail behind them, and how that trail can then impact how others see them in the world. So this is a little snippet of the digital footprint video. So you'll notice with Common Sense Media, they try to make it a little more kid-friendly in the lower grades, make it a little more mature looking in the upper grades. And so that's a sample from 7th grade. And then, of course, when we get into the upper grade levels, we get into things that are even a little more in depth. So this is a sample 12th grade lesson from Common Sense Media in which students engage with complex ethical challenges posed by rapidly advancing AI. They explore how AI impacts everything from personal privacy and misinformation to the future of work and human autonomy. It's designed to be highly interactive, prompting students to critically analyze scenarios, consider different perspectives, and wrestle with the trade-offs involved in AI development and deployment. Students will actually answer questions like, how do we balance innovation with safety? What are the implications of AI in our decision making? And how do we ensure AI is developed and used responsibly for the benefit of all? So the curriculum does align with the portrait of a graduate, specifically the collaborator element, the lifelong learner, and the solution-driven problem solver. We want our students to be able to work effectively with others, and one of the ways that people tend to work with others in this day and age is online. So they need to learn how it is to be an effective communicator online and an effective collaborator online. We envision graduates who are growing and making responsible decisions and seeking personal fulfillment. And so within technology, especially with AI, they need to be continuous learners. They have to be able to roll with the punches with what happens with AI and recognize when it's doing something positive and when it's not. And then finally, we do want our students to be researchers. We want them to be able to still use their creativity, their logic, and imagination. And we don't want AI to be something that substitutes for that. So it's important for them to understand the purpose behind being a solution-driven problem solver and how AI can fit into that for them. So this is our roadmap as to where we're going with this if you approve this curriculum for us. The curriculum is written. There is nothing that really needs to be done other than entering it into Atlas, our curriculum warehouse. So that's something that I've been working on in draft form. So if it were approved, it's easy to just push publish and everyone has access to it. The goal would be to make sure all of those curriculum documents are in Atlas before the school year starts. In the fall, we would train our staff on what it means to roll out this particular curriculum, and we would implement it next year. This is a very quick timeline because there's nothing people have to plan. Everything's done for them. Common Sense Media is an extremely comprehensive curriculum, but we would want to review and refine. We would want to look at it in the spring, determine what worked, what didn't work. Did we have the lessons placed in the appropriate grade level? Do teachers think maybe something needs to get moved up or down? Are we hitting all of the things that are happening in our schools? We never know what's going to happen with technology between now and then, so we may need to add to it. We did design this to be manageable. We're talking about 5 or 6 lessons total over the entire year. It's a very small commitment. And what it would you're probably wondering where it would happen. In the elementary classes, it would happen in their library time. So our technology integration specialists will actually teach these courses with our elementary students. And then at the middle and high school, these would be completely turnkey and they would happen during advisory and advanced periods. So we're not taking away from any academic time. And I want to be very, very clear to teachers in the room, you don't have to plan for it. It's all done for you. You open the book and it's all there. Like the videos, everything is done. So there's really no work other than believing in digital literacy is important for our students. And so unfortunately Pam left because this was her slide. The financial impact, it's zero. $0 financial impact. Common Sense Media is free. It's always going to be free. They have made that commitment to public education to not charge for it. The Day of AI is also free. They have a partnership with Common Sense Media. So.
We attended the Day of AI, Dr. Eckler attended, as well as the assistant superintendents and myself, along with many other districts. And I was so pleased to know that Stratford's in a place where we can move forward with this, because we have an AI policy, because we have a platform we're ready to move forward, and because we want to prepare our students to be able to have those guardrails and that ethical background around using this, because it's not going anywhere. So we want to capture this early, go through, and make sure that we are continuing to put those guardrails in place to keep our students safe and productive. So I really appreciate all the hard work that Dr. Eckler did, putting this together and using all of those free resources that the state is providing. I hope they do always stay free. They say they're gonna. So right now it's
been
no
free
cost
for a
to us.
while, so hopefully they'll stay. Should you approve this, we do have some next steps, which would be just to finish getting the curriculum into Atlas, develop a final scope and sequence that I would be developing in consultation with the assistant superintendents and the principals to make sure that it works within their school schedules. Training for teachers will be very small. They will have a video to watch. That's basically the extent of the training they'll need. And then we would be regularly communicating with students and families regarding what is going on in the curriculum.
And I don't want you to feel like your teachers won't be prepared, because this is one piece of the Common Sense curriculum for students. Our teachers are getting a lot of PD at the start of the school year around Magic School, around our AI policy, around that piece, in order to make sure that they feel good and confident about what is coming up. Chris has a question.
Thank you, Dr. Eckler. My question is, do we have the fully staffed libraries? Are the librarians? Are all of our elementary classes getting library time to be able to at least see this?
Yes. Yep, that's part of our preps. That's how we give our elementary prep. They also get library time. So yep, it's already planned. Elementary will actually be the smoothest implementation. It'll get a little trickier when we get to advanced and advisory at the secondary level. But that's why Dr.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, go ahead.
Would it be the library media tutors that would be presenting this to the students, or would it be the librarians?
It's the librarians. They are now, our new title is?
Technology Integration Specialists.
Our library media specialists, new title is Technology Integration Specialists. They will be the ones implementing this, not the tutors.
Okay, so how much time will the students get with libraries?
They still go, Joe, on the same schedule. Our elementary schedule is not changing. These lessons will be embedded and built in.
You said 5 to 6 lessons.
Dr. Eckler said about 5 lessons in this.
Yes.
So the rest of the split will still be libraries?
Yep.
Okay.
Well, you actually, kind of answered my question before I got to it, because mine was definitely going to be around how it was going to be delivered and by who, especially is concerning to me is because our secondary level, our middle schools and our high schools do not have librarians or whatever we're calling them now, technology integration specialists. And so, that's just putting another added layer onto our classroom teachers, our homeroom teachers, or advisory
The vision is, and Dr. Eckler has a laid out plan to add technology integration specialists each year through the high school. Obviously, we're not there right now, but if we were to get grants, if we were to get, the additional funding from the state, those are things we already have on our wish list and our hopes.
So adding those back into middle school, high school, and fully staffing all of our elementaries with their own, or we would continue to share?
Right now, we're going to continue with the model we have of sharing the 2 schools. Because we are also not grading. This is not about giving kids a grade for this. This is about building their understanding and making it an important part of their life. So by taking the grading off the plate of those teachers, going through 2 schools to do these things is okay. As Dr. Eckler's plan comes to fruition and we're able to do future budgets, we are going to continue to move because technology is not going anywhere. So we know we're going to need to add technology integration specialists throughout K through 12, possibly even at Strive, K through 23. But it'll be a plan that we have to just implement slowly and surely, and that's why she built in that reflection, because we have to know what works. We also have to see how quickly things change and evolve. So this was thoughtfully put together based on our current policy and the current place digital literacy is. We don't know where these curves are going to take us, and we just want to be prepared and work with our staff to do so. So with the preparation we did this year, we feel confident that this can be implemented K through 12, advisory, advanced, and with your technology integration specialists at the elementary. But trust me, when I present my budget next year, you'll see additional people.
Thank you.
So currently, how is our, I know we've made some changes, doing a library would be a specialist. How is that model currently working?
I will say they were wonderful to meet with. They are excited to work with Dr. Eckler. They have already started. They haven't had a real supervisor in a long time. So they felt really excited. She felt really excited. Their model, Mike, is we have 4 of them. They split 2 schools each for elementary. Okay, at the secondary levels, there's a tutor at the high schools and middle schools. And then they also have a tech at the high schools that deals mostly with the technology of the Chromebooks, fixing of the Chromebooks. They bring it to the Media Center for that.
But I mean, how is that model working?
It was a lot of work because they were grading and putting grades on a report card, and so it was a lot for them to take on, and that's why we really thought about what library is. It's the hub of our learning, and it always has been, right? Libraries have always been the hub of where we get our learning from, where our literacy is. The literacy is still there. It is just digital literacy. We are moving to where we are, but still valuing the humans that have always brought that. And that is not about a grade for our kids. It's not about meeting a standard. There's not a requirement for us to have a grade for that. So by thinking about how hard this was for them this year, Mike, and how much work they had to put in to grading for 2 full schools, taking that off their plate with the grading and allowing them to do their jobs in an effective manner and move with the times is the best decision for us to move forward. So I think that our plan this year was okay, but was hard. And I think our plan for next year is better.
Okay. And so we're changing from the title librarian to
Technology integration specialists.
And why are we doing that?
Because that's what library is now.
Okay.
It is, technology and integration. It's still books. It's still beautiful. It still has all of those things, but we are all merging it. And I'm looking at Mike. As Mike is staring at me, like, we love books. I love books too. So it's still all of those things. It's just, we are valuing who they are as humans, what they have brought throughout decades of learning, and now we are moving to technology integration specialists because that is where the world is going.
And how do they feel about the shift?
I met with them, Heather met with them on Friday, and then I met with them that following Monday. They actually emailed me immediately after walking out of the meeting with her to ask me to come to their meeting. We had a great conversation. I think they were a little worried at first about what their day would look like, but when we talked through kind of like my vision of how they'll work within the schools and how they'll support teachers and how they'll still have direct contact with students, they felt a lot better. So much so that they now all have my personal cell phone numbers and have already been texting me, and we are in a Google chat space where we are chatting about what the plans are for next year. So I think they're actually pretty excited about where we're headed.
Listen, anytime you get called to sit with the superintendent about your job, it's nerve-wracking, right? And they came in nervous and they left good. So we do think we are making the best decision for our staff, for our students, and how we can move forward and be able to continue to support our students. And they have started a wonderful work. I mean, they're lucky. They're going to have a good supervisor now too, so to advocate for them. So I do believe in this. I love that it's free. I love that the state has already approved it, and I certainly hope you guys will support us because we have done so much work this year to be prepared to be able to support our students in being safe, ethical, and good digital literacy users.
So when you and I first started talking about AI and task force and all this, it to me was a monumental task. I'm not saying it's not, and AI is a monster that just keeps growing and growing. but the rapid nature which we've moved through this and set up solid parameters, to the point now we're national leaders in this. It's super impressive that we have the ability that, you know, who'd ever thought Stratford, Connecticut is one of the technological leaders in the educational world in the United States of America. And it's because of the hard work and dedication of the staff, the foresight and the development of programs like this, the willingness to take it on, instead of waiting until 5 years from now when we're trying to deal with the cell phone. Now, it even sounds like we're going back and addressing some of the cell phone issues. We're teaching screen time, respect, and boundaries. You know, so it's just amazing to me where we started less than a year ago to where we've come now.
It's a combination of being supported by the Board of Ed, having a task force of people who are engaged, having a wonderful mid-year hire who has hit the ground running, and already having a solid Matt Rivers. So because you supported the expansion of the IT department, because we had community members that were part of everything, because the state also is moving forward with everything, it really put us in a place to have some success. And because people were willing to be open-minded, even stubborn people like you who didn't want to acknowledge AI, you know, have really opened their minds a little bit. Because people are willing to open their minds and their hearts a little bit, we're able to protect our students and move forward. And we're ready for this journey. It's going to be a bumpy road, and there's going to be tons of changes and updates and new things that fly at us. But we at least feel prepared to field those.
It'll never be the same as it was yesterday. You know, and it changes on a daily basis. So.
You mentioned Magic School Bus, right?
Magic School Bus.
Magic
School Bus is what we read as kids.
Magic School Bus is what we read.
Can you elaborate a little bit on that and how that will be part of this?
Sure. So we are adopting Magic School AI as our main AI tool that will be for both staff and eventually for students. Staff will have access to hundreds of pre-made bots that are designed specifically for educators, everything from helping them revise report card comments to, I'm going to load my lesson plan in here and I want you to help me make it more interactive, to rubric generators. I mean, there are hundreds of bots that teachers can use. They can create their own as well. If they have something that they do regularly. We actually had a conversation earlier today, Dr. Piazza and I, about talking about app smashing next year. So teaching teachers how to use Magic School AI to develop a year-long plan for class dojo postings to help them with their kind of dojo social media presence, to take some of the work off the teachers' plates and what they post. So we're going to be teaching our teachers how to do that sort of app smash between Magic School and Class Dojo. And then once we've gotten some of the digital literacy training under our students' belts, we will slowly roll out the student side. The nice part about Magic School with the student side is that it's extremely controlled. They can't just go on to Magic School and ask it any question like you could with ChatGPT. They can only interact with a specific bot created by the teacher. So a teacher could very easily say, I want you to go have a conversation with George Washington. And so the teacher would develop a bot about, everything that they know about George Washington, feed a bunch of information into it, and then the student could act as if they're asked questions, like pre-prepared questions from a group, about what George Washington's experience was like. At the high school level, we can actually open up a little bit more with Magic School. They actually can do a few more things outside of the bots, but not a lot. That's what we loved about Magic School, is that it allows us to kind of contain the use of AI while also giving our students access to it, so that when they do go home and get on their own emails and log into ChatGPT, which we all know that they're doing, or Gemini, that they have a better understanding of what they're doing. We will be talking, especially with the secondary students and the secondary staff, about how to prompt AI, so that our students know what are the right ways to get the right kinds of information out of it, and how to know when AI is hallucinating, which AI hallucinates sometimes. And actually, Matt Rivers and I did meet with Google recently, and they taught us something we didn't know, which we thought we knew everything about AI, but we don't, that hallucinations are actually how AI produces images. So AI hallucinations are a product, or AI generated images are a product of AI hallucinations. So they've actually found ways to take the things that AI does negatively and harness it for more powerful things to create pretty cool images.
And there were very few platforms that are approved, data privacy approved. And so of the platforms we were choosing from, this was the most economically responsible. We actually saved money because we were able to repurpose some 5 other programs that did this, well, Magic School does it, so you only need one. So we were able to really, save a little bit of money that way. And Gemini is by far, as far as digital security, the best choice for us. So I trust this team. I believe in, what they have to roll out. I think they're gonna help us keep our kids safe. They're gonna help us educate our parents. They're gonna help support our teachers as they embrace this new endeavor in the way that they have to teach. And I really do hope you support them.
Questions?
No.
So I look for, or I'll make a motion to approve the request for the new course or major curriculum
Second.
modification, second by Ms. Bedell. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Ms. D'Angelo Powers votes yes, the motion passes unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Eckler.
We'll move on to number 6, overnight trip. Vanilla High School Music Department to Disney in Florida. Came from the curriculum committee with favorable recommendation.
Yep, so it approved the high school marching band, color guard students, the Disney Imagination Parade, visit Animal Kingdom and Epcot Inspiration Performance at Universal Studios Island of Adventure. This is something that we've done in the past. They haven't done it in years. And the trip is a good recruitment tool for middle school and high school marching band students. And the cost per student is $2,250, and the students do fundraise. They organize 6 to 8 fundraisers events per year, plus 2 ad books. The ad book is the biggest fundraiser, 100% of the profit going to the student.
When did you say the trip was?
January 28th to February 1st, 2026.
Got it in on time.
Yes.
We had the paperwork.
So all the paperwork is in order, all the waivers have been signed, everything's good to go?
And then just there'll be 10 chaperones and along with the executive director, Jim Miller, and the other teachers that would like to attend.
So I look for a motion to approve. So moved by Mr. Kennedy.
Second.
Second by Mr. Cormier. Any other discussion?
I
All
just
those-
thought an interesting part of this that I think it's fun for all of you to know, because I had no idea this is how they got the instruments down there. They have volunteer drivers. So they actually drive the instruments down ahead of time so that we don't lose them on flights and they're not checking bags and they're saving,
Yeah.
I thought that was fascinating, that was how they got everything down.
They have a bus packing.
I would volunteer
Yeah.
to drive.
They have a bus packing party. It's crazy, but it's great.
Does one bus take just theirs in the trailer?
It's like a trailer, right?
No, yeah, it's a huge trailer.
Yeah.
They pack the trailer. It's a whole thing.
Yeah.
The
Whole
night,
thing.
like 2 nights before. It's awesome.
Nice.
And then that's where all the luggage goes. So there's no kids check luggage at the airport.
Yep, they don't do
They
that.
only have a carry-on, so it's more
So,
economical.
and they
to do
know
it
that when
way.
they get there, their stuff's all waiting.
And your instruments there.
Is
your uniform
it a hired driver or is it the parents?
No, they're volunteer.
Oh, jeez.
I would volunteer. I would do that.
Where are they? God bless them.
Huh?
On the record.
I'll do it.
So,
That would be amazing.
so, motion to approve, seconded by,
I'll second.
oh, Mr. Cormier. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Ms.
Aye.
Ms. D'Angelo Powers votes yes, the motion passes unanimously. Overnight trip, Vanilla High School Leadership Council, Disney Orlando, Florida. Can they go on the trailer too? Came from the curriculum committee with a favorable recommendation.
So this is something new this year. That idea came from Naugatuck, I believe, and this is a trip that Naugatuck has done. I'll just go through a little bit about it. The Disney Imagination Campus is a world-renewed program specifically designed for student leaders focusing on key skills like teamwork, leadership, and problem solving in real-world context. It is a hands-on, immersive learning experience that allows students to engage with Disney's principles of imagination, creativity, curiosity, and potential diversity in storytelling.
Before we start,
Yep.
hey Lisa, just want to make you aware too that using your cell phone during a meeting is FOIable. No, using your cell phone during a meeting is FOIable. I'm just telling you, so somebody could FOI what you're doing right now. I know, I'm just saying.
Okay.
Somebody could FOI texting or any conversation. Go ahead, sorry.
I think they learn from professional leaders in their field. The students will receive case studies and all of the clubs will work together, problem solving and collaborating. Disney has designed the program to align with Common Core standards, and the program also aligns with the core values of Stratford Portrait of the Graduate. They are expecting to take 16 to 20 students from all grade levels with 2 to 4 chaperones. The students will have a complete application to attend, and the estimate cost per student before fundraising is between $1,600 and $1,700. And fundraising strategies are GoFundMe accounts, app raise, pizza sales, donation, food sales, restaurant nights, etc. And a Disney travel agency is assisting in booking the trip. And then I think the real thing with this is, they're going to come back and it's really train the trainer. Students will look to take their unique skill sets back to them and adapt them to the school community population. That was one of the big
It was
things.
also just a very diverse subgroup that they were planning to take down there, so it wasn't just like, oh, you're
Certain class.
you're Joey Belvelli and you're our
Yeah.
president. It was literally, we are taking a diverse group to become leaders in all groups. My biggest question and concern about this one was that it sounds amazing and wonderful, and I want to make sure that Stratford High possibly has the opportunity to join something like this in the future, because we want to build our student leaders. Our focus on student voice is huge. So that was my only concern, is it sounded really great, everything was aligned, it was a beautiful presentation, but I want to make sure that both our schools have those opportunities to lead.
Disney has an after high school program too, where they have it's like a gap year program that they do before they go into college. I actually they've been doing it for years and years and years. And this is a feeder program for that. It's supposed to be a pretty awesome experience.
Yeah,
So it would be great if Stratford could
They
get it too.
aligned it, I mean, it was aligned to all of our standards, it
Yeah.
was aligned to the Portrait of a Graduate, so Disney clearly knew what they were doing when they put the
Oh yeah, for sure.
proposal together for that. But I did think it was an amazing experience. I just always want to make sure that, we are making sure both our schools have those opportunities.
So we'll put that on your shoulders next year.
They offer it a couple times a year, right? So maybe it's something that Stratford could do later in the year or something along those lines.
Okay, and all the paperwork was.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. There's a motion? Motion by Mr. Kennedy. Second by Ms. Nadal.
Just a quick question. I missed it, I can't find it in the application. How many kids are going?
The
16. How are they're part of the leadership council? Part of the student council?
9 through 12 graders.
I missed, I'm sorry.
Yeah, 9 through 12 graders, and their leadership council leading different groups, really like diverse group to head down there.
Good, thank you.
Okay, motion is seconded. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Ms.
Aye.
Ms. D'Angelo Powers votes yes, the motion passed unanimously. And then our overnight trip, Bunnell High School cheerleading camp Brian Marr in Honesdale, PA. Came from the curriculum committee with favorable recommendation.
A little overview again. Bunnell High School varsity cheerleaders attended the NCAA camp for the first time last year, and the team came back a more cohesive unit because of the camp. It was a very positive experience. The cheerleaders will practice technical skills and conditioning. Team bonding is one of the biggest goals of the camp that kicks off the season. The team will travel to camp in a bus, and there will be 2 chaperones, the coach and an assistant coach who bump with the team. A trainer and a nurse are on staff at camp 24 hours a day, and the cost of the trip is $460 per student. Each camp, all meals and transportation, efforts covered the full cost of the trip.
Second.
Second by Mr. Dell. Any discussion, questions? All the paperwork's in order.
I think everyone's got the
And it
paperwork
doesn't-
down now.
It doesn't affect, school time.
No.
So,
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Ms. D'Angelo Powers votes yes, motion passed unanimously. Number 9, proposed bylaws. We're still waiting to hear from a couple of committees. So I was hoping we could just push that off for another month. Some of the standing committees looking to refine some of their responsibilities. I know policy, we talked about it at our last meeting, and we're gonna have a finalized version of those responsibilities at our next meeting, which will be in time for our June meeting, and the same with your committee and personnel as well. So I'd like to have those before we push it to a final vote.
Let's hold off on it then.
Yeah.
Can I just ask, I know I have emailed Ms. Ikonis, can I just get an additional hard copy of the redlined bylaws? I was trying to pull that up on my phone before I was accused of other things, because I cannot seem to find my copy with me tonight in front of me.
Yes.
So that way I can view that properly. Thank you.
Wasn't accusing you of anything, I was just making you aware of the law. Number 10, electronic devices, cell phone policy, first read, came from the policy review committee with a favorable recommendation. We had looked at what you guys had sent over from the cell phone task force. We changed, I think, some of the genders just to make them in line with some of the other things we've done, the his and hers, and I can't remember his parents or whatever it was. The only thing we changed was to add in the high school piece that before a student enters the classroom, his cell phone must be powered down. His or her cell phone must be powered down. The reasoning being is we had just envisioned as kids walked into the classroom, they would be still on the cell phone, powering it down for the next couple of minutes. So it needs to be powered down before they walk through the classroom door. And that was outside of those are the only changes we had.
Dr. Piazza wanted to be here tonight, but he had a conflicting event with his own child's graduation and things to do. But it is just your first read of this. As you heard Kristen Rucker share with you, we are required to have a policy in place, and we want to. So the committee, really put a lot of thought into this. They did go visit other schools. They met with students. They met with staff, and we feel like this is a solid policy. Again, the changes that were made at the policy committee were more just to put them in line with the language we're using in all of our other policies, to make sure it is gender neutral and that we are inclusive.
And we did acknowledge all the hard work that the cell phone task force did. We could tell by the way it was written, like the AI task force, a lot of hard work went into it, and wanted to commend them for all their hard work.
So our hope is that after your June meeting, we'll have a policy to work off of, because what we want to start doing is messaging to our parents over the summer to help them understand the shifts and the changes. We want to start working with our staff to make sure that everybody feels supported about the new regulations. We also need to align our code of conduct. So there's work we have to do once this is passed and in place, and that is our summer work and our plan. So, you get a first read and your second read, and we're hoping we can have it passed for July 1st.
So I'd look for a motion to accept as a first read.
So
Moved by Mr. Dell, seconded by Mr. Cormier. Any other discussion?
Just a question for you, Ms. Borges. 100% support it. And I know you mentioned like educating the parents, we need to educate the students, and we need to educate the staff, and administrators, and really make sure they understand this, and that the code of conduct aligns, and that it is being enforced, because I know it does not get enforced many places. And so I just want to make sure that that is something that will happen at the beginning of the year, that it will be
enforced.
Yeah, we're actually going to start making that happen at the end of the year.
Our discussion was around consistency and enforcement of it, and if that doesn't happen, the whole thing goes unnoticed.
We understand that. Yep, we know. So So it's gonna be a big lift. But we are prepared to do it. And I think this gave us just enough flexibility at the high school level, but not too much for us to make this manageable. K to 8
Should be a no-brainer.
simple. It's no brainer, can't be there, and we have to have our parents understand that. And that's why we wanna start the messaging too.
They did come out with, the anxious generation has a bunch of follow-ups, and they did come out with a recent blog about districts that have already adopted this, and the massive changes, positive changes that they've seen after they've adopted these policies.
Yeah, and we did go look at a lot of those, Mike. They went to go look at people who use gender pouches, people who use the suitcase model, people who use, just
The towers,
away, and the towers, and
Other districts have passed policies that are complete bans straight across the board, K through 12, and it was recommended at one point too, early in these committee meetings, that we go that route too. Maybe not feasible in light of digital literacy and all of that kind of stuff, that we're looking, so this was kind of a happy medium. And
yeah, we are, there are, I would say the majority of the districts in Connecticut, the superintendents are K to 8 cell phone free, right, with some guardrails in secondary. And we had a psychologist who was on, who spoke a little bit about the fact that at the secondary level, when they graduate, they're gonna have those cell phones. So this is our opportunity to teach them appropriate use. This is our opportunity to be able to say, this is the place you use it, this is the place you don't. And so, we feel like that tiny bit of flexibility is also helping prepare our students for what they're going into in college. So I support this 100%. I think they worked hard. I think it is a combination of CAVES and other peoples and other districts, and we didn't reinvent the wheel, but we did put something in place that we know will be hard, but we can enforce. We don't want to pass a policy we can't implement. So we know we have hard work to do. We know we have to align with the code of conduct. We know that we have to do our jobs to make sure that our buildings do their jobs, implementing all of those things. And so the sooner you guys pass this, the better for us, because we have to start that training process.
So, and it also sounded like some of that teaching will come from the digital literacy curriculum.
Yeah, well, we're setting that stage, right? And that's why we want to start that curriculum way down with the babies, because we want to set that tone and, set that stage. But we still have a ton of learning for our teachers and for our parents to be able to shift, because we haven't been strict with no cell phones in our schools. And a perfect example is study halls, right? Kids are on their phones all the time in study halls, and we have allowed it because it seems like something okay to do. But now we're saying, mentally, right, you need to be able to teach people the appropriate place, and study halls are still in classrooms. And classrooms are cell phone free spaces. And that's the lesson we are trying to work and teach our students. So it's gonna be tough, it's gonna be good. We're gonna have a lot of hard work, we're gonna have bumps. You may get emails from angry parents when their children's cell phones are taken.
We may get emails from calls from our own angry children.
You may get calls from your own angry children, yes, that too.
I'm expecting that one.
Selfishly, I love when my 7th grader texts me during the day to let me know how things are going, or whatever it is.
When mine finds out that he can't take his phone out
This
at
is
study hall,
gonna be a
he's
moment
gonna come
of-
out, he's gonna be not happy.
Yeah, I get it, I get it.
We know it's gonna be hard on all fronts. Hard for parents, hard for teachers, hard for administrators. It is what is recommended. It is what's right. We can do this because we can do hard things. Stratford can do hard things, and this is something that we can work together and get done.
But the entire
It's
intent
necessary.
is to create an educational environment
It is.
and create more solid, socially, emotionally adjusted children.
And that's why I said we can do hard things. I believe in it. I believe we can do it. So take your solid first read. Hopefully, we don't have too many adjustments or changes because people did work hard to put this together. And then you guys can do your vote in June, and I can start working with my teachers and staff soon.
We made a motion in a second.
Okay. Any other discussion? So the first read, just all those in favor?
Aye.
She said.
Aye.
Aye, okay. Motion passed unanimously. Number 11, Committee for School Conduct Policy, with a request to waive the first read, and Ms. Forges, I'll let you take this one up?
Yeah, if you guys look at your policy, I believe at the top of it, what does it say? Yep, what's the word on the top?
Unfunded mandate?
It's a mandate. So, you know, I'm asking you to waive the first read because it's mandatory. So, you know, it really helps us work on mean-spirited behavior, work with our staff and our students. It does put a little more work on our building administrators. It puts more work on central office. We don't have a choice but to do that work. It is good stuff in here, so although it is work, it is hopefully gonna help us improve our climate. It's gonna help us be able to work with our students restoratively. Again, I know that sometimes it probably feels like I'm just way too proud of Stratford all the time, but I am, because this is mandating restorative practice. And Stratford has been training and training the trainers for years now. So we are in a place to implement this, and it's not coming at us, whereas some districts who have not been doing restorative practice, it is gonna be an unfunded mandate, because they are going to have to restoratively train their entire district. We're not there. Every new teacher who we hire gets a full restorative training in the summer before they start working for us. And then we have follow-ups throughout the year. And now we have built capacity where every single building has trained the trainers. And in fact, this will be the first summer where we don't have to contract outside of here to do our restorative training, because our own trainers are gonna do the training for the new teachers. So we really are in a place to be able to implement this mandate with no financial cost to the district, which is, I'm thankful and it's amazing, but I'm just hoping that if you guys don't mind, if you could just skip the read because it's mandated anyway.
And written by the state.
And written by the state.
We didn't write this.
No,
Policy didn't write it.
paid in the state, so we're just hoping you will pass it so we can start the work, because I have to start getting committees and groups together with our schools and with the district, and we have to lay out a plan. You actually have to turn your plans into the state. So these have to, part of this tells you that you have to do a formal plan at each of the buildings. I have to turn those plans into the state, I think by October 1st, it could be sooner than that. So we don't have choices, we have to do it.
So I look for a motion to waive the first read. Moved by Mr. Cormier. Seconded. Any discussion?
Yeah, quick question. Well, no, that's
On the
on the
first
first,
read.
no, go ahead. On the motion, or on the policy.
Any questions on the first read? No? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. All opposed? Motion passed unanimously. In reference to the policy, I look for a motion to approve. Moved by Mr. Kennedy.
Second.
Second by Mr. Cormier. Discussion.
What happens when the restorative practices just don't do the job?
I don't know what you mean by that.
With behaviors that happen in some of the schools, some of the schools that I'm aware of, you know, it oftentimes the restorative practices are implemented, and sometimes it just doesn't work.
Yes, restorative practice doesn't mean no consequence. So let me be clear, and we train our staff that way. When you live, and this is how the trainers present it to you, if you live in the world of permissive behaviors with no consequences and only restorative practice, that is not good. You also don't want to live in the world of just punitive. Restorative brings you to that middle. So you never give up on restoring. So that you need to know. Even if it didn't work 100 times, I'm going to keep trying. You're still going to get a consequence based on the code of conduct, and there will still be a consequence for your actions that way. But as an educator, I will never give up on the thought that you will grow from your mistakes, learn, and be able to make amends and make it better. You are correct. There are times where you want to be frustrated, you don't want to do the restorative meeting, you feel like it's never going to work, but the point of restorative practice is to not give up on our children, and to not give up on our staff, and to not give up on, you know, what's going around. It does not mean you don't get a consequence. So when people say, you know, what if restorative doesn't work, typically what they mean is, you know, are we only doing restorative and not consequences? No, we do both. You have a code of conduct, you are issued that consequence. What we want to do is make sure our ISS rooms, our expulsion place are all trained in restorative practices, so when the students are in there, they are not just there being punished for an act they did, they are there trying to restore the damage they did that got them in there. And how are they going to make that better? And you're right, some kids are not going to be perceptive, but Kristen, we're never going to give up on that.
I get that. I get that you shouldn't give up on that. I think it's important to continue to trust in kids who obviously learn from their mistakes, but I think there is maybe in some scenarios, and I've heard it from other parents, that there is a disconnect between the idea that there are consequences with the restoration process. And that is what's really hard for parents to see. I think at all levels of schooling, I think it's,
I think there's multi-level challenges on that. So, A, we can do a better job of making sure parents understand there are consequences that go with restorative practice, but I think where the real issue comes in with parents, and this is not fixable, is I am not gonna tell you the child who did the harm's consequence. And so if parents feel like if you don't tell me that that child got 10 days of suspension, then I don't think they got a consequence, right? But I'm not going to violate that child's rights to let you know. What I'm gonna tell you is, students receive both restorative measures and consequences.
and I understand that, and I also understand that that privacy information, that information cannot be given out. I get it. But what happens is that the behavior then reoccurs, and then it reoccurs again, and then it reoccurs again. It's consistent, and then there seems to be, you know what I mean? There seems to be no
But you'll
repercussion
see in
because
the
it
new
continues to occur.
policy, it's supposed to be progressive discipline.
Right.
So
I
there is
thought that's how it
repercussions.
was now. That's why. And that's why.
To an extent, Stratford tends to be a little bit ahead of the curve in some aspects, right? We have restorative training and we do have some progressive discipline. This is more progressive discipline.
Okay.
So it just means that if the behaviors continue to happen, the discipline continues to increase, but so do the restorative measures.
Again, just something we have to be consistent with.
Yeah. Yes. That's why when you pass it, you have more to work on.
Any other discussion? Roll call vote. Ms. D'Angelo Powers.
Yes.
Mr. Cormier.
Yes.
Mr. Kennedy.
Yes.
Ms. Bedell.
Yes.
Ms. Carol Vivian.
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Motion passed unanimously.
Thank you.
Your work begins. We'll table items of committee assignments, curriculum
So
committee.
we're adding bylaws to.
Do we want to table it or just leave it as an?
Leave it as an-
We can just leave it. Just if we were gonna add it, we would have tabled it. Just FYI, but yeah. And we can go either way.
Curriculum, no real updates here at all, everything that we went over.
Sounds like you guys had a busy month.
We did,
Yeah.
it was a good meeting.
Finance committee did not meet, planning, seems so long ago. We met May 1st, we had talked about the capital improvement plan, we had talked about the feasibility study for Bunnell, just some of the school projects, wrapping up the closed out projects, or closing out some of the projects that we've done. With all the end of year activities, I'll probably be canceling planning this month, but we'll pick it up again if we need a special meeting. But I think the next step will be putting together that task force surrounding the Bunnell feasibility study and working with the mayor to get the feasibility study.
Yeah, and I do think I want to say a special thank you. Representative Shake has been in contact with me all week and advocating for our reimbursements at the state, so that's been really nice.
Excellent.
So I do think, both the town and our district are working together to get this reimbursement, and now we have advocacy at the state also trying to get that reimbursement, so hopefully Stratford will see benefit of that.
Okay. Liaison committee did not meet. Policy review, we met, went over a number of policies, some of we saw today. We're in the process of finalizing just our responsibilities for our bylaws. For addition to our bylaws, we had a couple of policies that we were holding over, I think. We set up another.
We're also talking about setting up a schedule of revisions on policy, like how often, like setting up a cycle.
Like the curriculum revisions.
By the end of this.
Almost a mandated cycle, yeah. Yep.
By the end of this 2-year.
Yes. Yep. So, and that's, I think, important because some of these policies have not been, so it's just getting in there so that it is on a regular basis, so. But we continue to do the work there, and I think it's pretty effective. Do you want to add anything, Mr. Norton? bylaws, planning committee, personnel committee, Ms. Fidel.
Yep, we met, last, I guess it was a couple weeks ago now. And, Ms. Thurlow was appointed.
Thank you.
Cheryl, maybe in Cape?
The CAPE Summer Leadership Conference is August 7th at Water's Edge in Westbrook, so if you'd like to register, let Ms. White know.
That's it?
That's it.
Thank you. Ms. Kennedy, yes?
We have our monthly meeting on Thursday.
Okay. Town of Stratford building needs, I think we had our planning, or they had one of their meetings last month. I haven't been able to attend the last couple months. One was canceled and one was on the same night that we had.
I was unable to attend last week.
So, yeah, it's been a conflict, so I will attend their next meeting. Hopefully, I think that's next week, but, no other, general good and welfare.
Just a thank you to all of you for showing up to so many events. There is a lot that goes on at the end of the year. It's exhausting and amazing all at the same time. And I just really appreciate constantly seeing faces, and they appreciate it. So thank you. I know you work. I know this is a volunteer job for you, so for all of you to show up is pretty awesome.
And for those of you who don't know, Mr. O'Brien had surgery earlier this week. I think it was open heart surgery. As is expected, he came out very strong and has, hit a little bump, but I think that's typical. We have good confidence and faith that Bill will recover quickly. So if you can send him your good wishes and prayers, just for a speedy recovery. We'll see him in our next meeting, but he is still in the hospital, and we continue to get updates. But we're all obviously hoping for the best for Bill. So and Tish, you can reach out to him and just send him some good wishes. So we appreciate it. We got some end of year stuff coming up, graduation. Everybody's been given their assignments. The schools will be going out, and the weather should be beautiful that day. So looking forward to the end of the year. And knock on wood, But anyway, things are moving along great. So look for nothing else until motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second, Ms. Kennedy, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Mr. Angelo Powers, thank you for joining us this evening.
Thank you.
Jill, I hope you feel better.
Thank you. Good night.
Did I give you guys?